Hello. This is going to be an interesting mail video. Okay, so I might be going just a smidge overboard on HP stuff, but oh boy, are there some cool things in here. Now, I actually have James from Springfield, Ohio to thank for these things. Technically, they gave me these items, but I did pay for shipping, and I don't usually do that, but there was kind of a lot here, and I also did something unusual, and one of these has a CRT. I have been actually trying to think about this. I don't believe I have ever shipped a CRT before, so I'm a little nervous about that. I guided them through some recommendations, and we'll see how it turned out. The boxes are actually numbered here, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna open them sequentially by number, just because that seems like the most fun, and it'll put the bigger ones last. So, yeah, and I think number 2 is the CRT, so we'll see what that looks like. But, yeah, these are a bunch of different kinds of HP hardware in these boxes, and I am really looking forward to getting them open. So, let's go ahead and start with number 1. Let's get this one open, and actually, I think this is the CRT, so we're gonna see that one right out of the gate here and know what shape that's gonna be in. I'm gonna go over how I recommended packing this as well as we get into this. Oh, that is so far looking good. This was like really well done, making it fit the CRT. But the number one thing I was really trying to make sure happened is this. The CRT was put tube down, because the biggest problem you have with CRTs is that you'll have the front of the monitor, the tube actually attaches to the front of the display usually. Sometimes there is a metal cage that goes down to the bottom, but a lot of times it attaches to the front with little screw tabs on the monitor. And then that'll put shear force downwards when it bumps up and down in shipping, and it'll end up shearing off the plastic standoffs on the front of the monitor. So putting it face down will make it compress on those standoffs, which they end up withstanding those kinds of forces a lot better. So putting it down like this is actually going to make it more likely to survive. So, oh, I'm optimistic here. And then this is actually extremely well padded. There is a lot of isolation around this. I really like all of the paper padding that is shock absorption, because you don't want it to just be harsh foam all the way around it, or else it'll just translate any impacts directly into it. So this seems pretty good to me. Oh, another good call right there, attaching some padding to it. And I think that has survived very well. So just quickly taking a sneak peek at the front of the tube here, I can tell that it hasn't had the neck snapped, so that's good. Now you may notice the missing knobs there. That was something that I requested be done. They are actually right here on the bottom, because these could have been broken. They just connect onto potentiometers on the front of the display here, and putting them back on is going to be trivial, and with that we didn't have to worry about them breaking or anything like that. So yeah, that's looking really good actually. Yeah, that's excellent. So, does this look familiar to anyone? Because it should. This is the second one of these I own now. These are HP 82913As. These are the monitors for an HP86. Why would I need a second monitor for an HP86 when I only have one? Let's just keep going, shall we? Before that, though, I'm going to put the knobs back on, and I can tell they're actually all the same, so it doesn't matter where I put them. Just on is going to be good enough. All right, that's power and volume, because for some reason these also have a speaker built in, and everything else. We'll get this wiped off later, but for now, let's just get it tucked away. I have a feeling box 2 is going to give away a bunch of what's in the other boxes, because it feels very, very heavy. Documentation heavy. Okay. I think I know what this is going to have in addition to what we talked about sending, based on what it's got going on there. This is interesting. I think I've talked about this with the HP4C stuff. That is an OEM HP cable. I can confirm that by comparing it with my other OEM HP cables. That is really, really cool. I really like getting these. It's just a weird little thing to make it feel more complete. So I really appreciate that. Then there are some extra ICC13 cables. Okay. This one I'm gonna have to pay extra attention going through, because there are a lot of little things in here. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh boy. That one's paper. Okay, now I'm not sure what's what. I do know what this is, though. Let's start out with this one, because this was actually the reason that I was initially put in touch with James by his brother. Taters is what they go by, because of my HP 200 obsession recently. Ooh, good call putting extra padding on the plastic front. This is an HP 9121S. And the thing is, I think it's an S that predates being called an S. Does it say S on the back? It does not. This is a single-sided, double-density floppy drive. So this is a very early drive for the HP 3.5 inches. So this drive uses the Amigo protocol instead of CS80. There are two different interface languages for the HP drives. The older ones, like the 82901M that I hinted at in one of the previous videos, also speaks Amigo like this. And these are also compatible with these Series 80 machines. So this one was actually being used with Series 80, but it can be used with the Series 200 stuff as well, and there was some software distributed on media like this, single-sided, 3.5, so having this for the Series 200 stuff is going to be helpful still. Like the 9122C that I got though, this one is going to need some love to get working again. Now, this is just universally one of my absolute favorite things to get. Oh, you can see it peering through there. Documentation. Yes. It just head over heels to get more HP documentation for things. You'll notice, oh, that's unfortunate. The binder broke off. I can probably fix that though. You'll notice though that this is for an HP 86, isn't it? Ooh, got plotter ROM, advanced programming ROM, electronic disk ROM. That's an interesting one. Oh, awesome! The manual for the floppy drive. Well, that's going to be extremely helpful, actually. So, yeah, a lot of good stuff in this one. I think all of these actually go together. So I'm going to open all of it at once and then go over it. Okay, now, none of this is HP related in any way right here. We'll have one more HP thing before we go on to the next box. But this is a really cool thing. That is a gas plasma dot matrix display. So this is a, it would be amber colored grid-based display. I can't remember what the exact resolution is. Let me see if the documentation here says that, because this is documentation for how to drive this thing. So it is a 320 by 64 Vishay APD 320 G064A. So yeah, plasma panel display module. So these would get used in a bunch of things. Pinball machines had displays kind of like this underneath of the scoreboard for like animations and stuff. They were used in industrial equipment for displaying information as well. So these are just really cool. This one, I believe, uses an unusual display interface. So I'll have to figure out how that works, and the information here is going to be very critical for that. So getting the data sheet to go along with it is extremely useful. But yeah, this should be really interesting to check out sometime. So thank you for sending that. That's going to have to, I'll have to figure out how to work with that thing, because that is really, really cool. I have had a gas plasma display module like this before, and unfortunately when I tried to power it, it blew up. So hopefully I have better luck with this one. Now, the last thing from that box is HP related again here, and it is something I'm really excited to have, but disappointed that I ultimately need. This is a keyboard for an HP 86, and oh my, does that feel really, really good. So you may remember several years ago now, I did a video about 3D printing key stems for an HP 86 keyboard, because mine had been crushed, absolutely just disintegrated. The FDM key stems didn't really work out that well in the long run. I did an update video on them. They were not as great as I'd hoped. And then later I was actually sent some SLA printed key stems. Now, I hadn't had a chance yet to fully tear apart the keyboard and put the SLA key stems in, but I did put in one as a test, and the one test one did something I was not expecting. Right there, you can see it split. So it shrunk on the key stem as it was just sitting there and is cracking. So apparently SLA contracts over time. I did not know that. So if I had fully assembled the keyboard, I'm not sure how many of them would be in that condition right now, but yeah, just the one did that. Now, I want to be clear, I'm still very appreciative of Skunk Factory, who sent those key stems. Is worth knowing that that happens. You might be able to print them slightly too large to start out with to account for the shrink, or maybe print them and then heat treat them to anneal them. I'm not sure if that's a thing with resin printing like it is with FDM. So this is going to make my life a lot easier. These are in so much better condition than mine ever was. So many of my keys had been crushed to the point that they had splayed, and I'm just looking. I can see some are cracked, but they're not catching like mine was. Mine, you would press the keys in and then they would stick. It was completely unusable. I'm assuming something was stored on top of the keyboard for a long period of time, which will just absolutely destroy these kinds of key switches. So this should hopefully fix this computer long term. So I'm looking forward to installing this. And then there were two. And oh boy, is this a big one. This is something I was about as nervous about shipping as the CRT. So I'm very relieved to see this is packed extremely well in here. And I was also wondering, I didn't actually know how big it was. Yeah, it's put in here at an angle. It's enormous. Whoa. Okay. Oh, this one is very, very cool. Oh, it is a beast. This lovely beauty is an HP 7475A with an original HP sticker. Like, we get computers now with these things. We're like, oh, we gotta rip these off. They're super annoying. But this is telling you like how to demo this thing. Oh my gosh. So this is a plotter. It's a full width plotter. Oh, I didn't even realize that. It can take paper sideways. So Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I didn't realize that. Okay, that is really cool. I wonder what's the it has to be that way because it wouldn't be able to grab it with the roller elsewise. So yeah, I guess this one works sideways. That's really cool. The 7470 that I plotted this on works on them lengthwise, which ends up being a little mind-bending to set up. So this is going to be really cool. The other really awesome thing about this is this piece. This is a carousel for holding 5 different pens at once, so you can have a bunch of different colors. And something like the 9836C in particular will make really, really good use of this thing. Oh man, just look at this glorious monster. Oh my gosh. This is the HPIB model. This also came in at least RS-232. Oh man, I'm so excited. Oh boy, I now own 4 HP plotters. Oh man, hopefully I can get 2 of them working now. And this one will be next. Oh man, am I excited. All right, it's time for the final box. And this one has something that is both familiar and new in it. And I think there's only one thing in here. Another one that had to go in at a bit of an angle due to the size. And based on the shape, you might be able to guess you've already seen one of these today. I'm just gonna get this open right away. Yep, it's an HP 86. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would I need another HP 86? And there's a very good reason for that. These are different. This is an HP 86B. The 86A that I have up here has 3 proprietary interface ports that require you to have a very special printer cable and then 2 bespoke floppy drives to this machine that no other HPs use as far as I'm aware. The 86B just has HPIB. Now, being just standard HPIB here means that this can directly interface to all of the normal peripherals without needing interface adapter modules. So this thing is actually a lot more usable than the other one. And I think it may have had some hardware included into it. And that would be the kind of stuff that's in this. The HP Series 80 machines are somewhat unusual in that they use ROM drawers. This has extra software that's loaded in with the kernel to extend the capabilities of the machine. So this actually plugs into the back here. And then when the system boots, it reads from the cards in the back to know what extra options that it has available to it. Now, I will have to double check to see the exact differences, but I believe the B has some more ROMs included into the main system than the A86 does. It may also just be the difference between the 85 and the 86. I'm not 100% sure, but still, just getting the HPIB native version of this computer is really awesome to me. So I'm really excited to have that one. So I was going through all of the boxes here just to make sure that I didn't miss anything and to put all of the packing materials in there. A board was placed on the bottom of the box with the CRT. I didn't mention doing that. That was an absolutely incredibly good idea. Wow, that was smart. I was actually going to point out here that you can see indentations in the foam where the CRT did bounce down onto the bottom of the box here. So putting it face down may have actually saved it during shipping. But wow, that board, that was a brilliant idea. Definitely good job on that one, James. All right, I've got everything set up here because I do want to try and use it all today. I know James tested the HP86 itself here, so we will be able to test that out. However, I'm going to pull out the 9121 because I know it does have issues and I don't want to try and rush into anything with that. So we're not going to use that. Then there's the plotter. Now this had screws on the rear and I've gone ahead and removed them because I wanted to look it over to make sure that there was nothing that was going to be a problem with it. Now looking internally at the plotter here, everything seems fine. The main belt for the pen carriage is actually perfect, so I'm really glad about that. Don't have to replace that. All the other stuff looks good. I don't see any corroded caps, legs or anything like that, because back here, I can see a lot of axial caps. However, I think that big cap is toast, because for one, I smell something fishy going on there, and if I use my phone to get way up in there, yeah, it's pretty clearly leaking at the bottom. You can see how discolored it is around the seal area. So yeah, that's not good. When everyone's telling me, oh, your old caps are bad, you shouldn't reform them, just replace them. Normally I say, no, they're not bad. They haven't failed unless they've proven to fail. Well, that one has proven to fail. So that'll be a 22 UF 40 volt DC cap that needs replaced. Yay. Now, because that thing will have leaked and the electrolyte is conductive, that means it's just all over the circuit board there. So I should not turn this on with it in that condition. I will have to remove that cap, clean the logic board there, replace it, and then it can be tried out. So I'm a fair ways away from using this plotter, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to pull this one out of here as well. And that brings us down to just the HP86 as something that I can comfortably turn on and demonstrate today. And I do still want to do that, even though we have actually looked at an HP86 before, because for one, it was a long time ago now, and two, we never actually plotted from the HP86. So I want to use some of the information that we'll get out of the documentation and plot from this machine to the 7470 plotter that I have. And I think we'll leverage the plain GPIB connector on the back here to communicate with the 82901M as well. So let me get this thing fired up. That's always loud and scratchy. And then we will try writing some software with it. Okay, so I have now spent a couple of days with this computer and the documents and its ability to interface with all the hardware I have here. And man, it is really great to be back using one of these. The HP86, it's just such a good, simple computer. Man, it is phenomenal. I have to really say thank you for sending all of the manuals, because just for the demo program I'm about to show you, I used all of these to do this. Literally needed every single one of those right there. So that was extremely helpful. But for right now, I have a game that I wrote. I have on a floppy disk here. We will go ahead and cat that. There we are. This is what it would be like to use the 9121 once I get that one working. But we'll be able to just read the discs directly like this, and this is really nice and easy, especially great to be able to use something like the 82901M here. Just way easier to work with this kind of stuff. So this is going to be a game of tic-tac-toe that's actually going to use the plotter. So let me get you some tighter shots here so you can see everything happening up close. All right, now first I'm going to load the software, and I'm going to load TicPlot here. So we're just going to do that like this. If I had more disks in here, or it was on a different drive or something, you would have to supply something called an MSUS, that is the device path identifier for these machines. But with that loaded, I can now show you the code for the program. And yeah, it was, it took me a little bit to get this written out here. Easily the most complicated HP Series 80 program I've written. So, I am very much looking forward to showing you this. We're not going to go through all of that code, but I will highlight a few things here and there as we run through it. Now, before we start, I really wanted to run both HP86s and have this do multiplayer tic-tac-toe, and it would be possible, but this took enough work as it is, and I don't want to have to try and throw that in here and make this even more complicated. So we're going to settle for this. But really, showing the plotter in action here is one of the big things that I wanted to do. So let me get some paper loaded in here so that we can run this and see how this works out. Later, we will be able to check out the 7475A. It's just actually an even worse shape than I thought. That capacitor that was in there went a bit more rogue than I thought and definitely needs to be replaced. All right, but with that, I'm just gonna press one key to get us started, and the plotter over there is gonna immediately whip to life. All right, now back over to here, I have a board and it's asking for us to put in a position. Now this is being given as an XY with a comma value. So if we look at the input line in the code here, you'll see there are two variables that are separated with a comma, and it will automatically populate them in when you put them in that way. So I'm gonna have player one take position 1, 1, which will be right in the center of the playfield. Oh man, the plotter just makes this so much more fun. So now we have player 2. Now this is where the difference between the monitor and the plotter gets a little weird. The IDs for the rows and the columns don't totally make sense. So it's actually rotated clockwise 90 degrees if I remember correctly. So it might seem a little weird. But on the paper, I'm going to have player 2 take the top position, which for here will be 0, 1. Oh yeah, since it's a 2-pen plotter at least, I can have it change colors for player 2. If I had 7475 working, I would have made the grid and player 1 separate colors, which would absolutely be possible. All you have to do is run SP commands with the number of the pen that you want to select. And this is raw HPGL to send commands like that. And it's really easy to just program the plotter directly like that from within your software. So eventually I will modify this program to make player 1 have a unique color, but at least for now, player 2 does. Now, the strategic play for player 1 is to box in player 2. We're gonna go for the corner. All right, player 2 doesn't have a lot of choices. And I'll have X continue setting the pace. Oh, I messed up my angles. Whoops. Well, maybe this is just 2's chance to steal. All right, now player 1 doesn't have a choice. It's going to be 1, 2. And at this point, it's pretty clear it's going to be a deadlock because player 2 has to do 0, 1. Actually, space 1, 0. And that is a tie game. Now, I'm going to put this back in here in the other corner, and I'm going to rerun it here. And I'll show you what a win condition looks like. So let's say player 1 is the only one who is competent here, so 0, 0. Player 2, 0, 1. Player 1, 1, 1. Player 2, 1, 0. And player 1, 2, 2. And there we are, player 1 wins. I would have loved to make it like draw a line through there, but since with X it would actually just be drawing over the exact same one. Since it's perfect, I would have to add some like weird cattywampus angle offset. And the victory conditions for tic-tac-toe actually took the longest to code into this, because it can be any row, any column, or a diagonal this way or a diagonal this way. I actually found it easiest to write the code in a way where it's compatible with any number of grid sizes. So theoretically, this could actually work on a 4x4 or a 5x5 grid as well. It's just, I went with the classic 3x3 here, but just for giggles, I'll flip the paper over here and we'll run a 5x5 just because we can. All I have to do is go to the top of the program here, and I'm going to change size to 4 here because it is 0 indexed for everything. And that's all I need to do. Okay, so this just got a lot more complicated. So player 1, I'm gonna have them take the center, which is now 2, 2. All right, there we go. Man, this is hilarious to see. I'm just gonna be quiet and let it play through this here, and I'll put the microphone on the plotter. And there we go, a victory for player 1. I now understand why, like, more than 3 tic-tac-toe doesn't really exist, because once you start, like, going across the grid, man, you really start closing off potential win locations. So, yeah, that really does not work well, huh? Never really thought about that, but that's kind of hilarious to, like, see in practice there. But, man, this is super-duper cool. Well, thank you again, Jim, for sending the absolutely amazing HP stuff. I know I didn't get to use the 9122 or the 7475A plotter in this video, but we'll get to those eventually. For now, I really just wanted to focus on the HP86B here. Having it have just the regular old GPIB port on the back really makes it so much easier to use. I didn't really experiment all that much with my 86A, even though I do have the HPIB module for it. This is just so much easier to work with, so it's really awesome to have this one here, and I'm very appreciative of that, so thank you. But that is it for now, so I hope you guys enjoyed this look at the HP Series 80 line of computers. I will be going back to the HP Series 200 line of computers now for a bit longer. Still having a lot of fun with that machine too, but this one definitely still holds a place in my heart because it's just such a wonderful little machine. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, you may want to subscribe to be notified when I release another one. If you want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon, but for now, that's it, and I will see you next time.